Hello, and welcome to my presentation and demonstration on UDL and Equitable Access, and one of the tools that I thought was very interesting and useful in an educational setting. So I'd like to start off with a short consideration of some of the ISTE standards that this issue will be addressing. So standard number 2, digital citizen, we're looking at 2B, and that's just to help students understand and become advocates for equitable access in educational technology. Standard 4, innovative designer, that's really one of the ones that we want students to get to do in terms of being able to use a wide variety of technologies to solve problems, in this case relating to equitable access. Standard 5 is actually one that relates to the educator themselves. And this is a standard that the teacher should aim to master, which is being able to present their teaching in a multimodal way across various platforms. So the accessibility tool that I wanted to look at was Microsoft PowerPoint Live Subtitles. So as you can see across the bottom of your screen, there's actually live subtitles going as I give this presentation. This feature is available in the Microsoft Office 365 version of PowerPoint, and it actually just creates subtitles as you're speaking. I don't have to type anything, and I will not be typing anything in after this presentation. One of the amazing features is that it is also able to translate into multiple languages. So that is something to consider for your diverse classroom. So some of the accessibility considerations I wanted to look at, some of them are fairly obvious, some of them not so much. So to start, this tool will be great for English language learners. So students who come into your classroom and do not speak the primary language, which we would assume in the United States would be English. But for students who have trouble with English, who might be from foreign countries, this is a great way to turn your presentation into something that would be accessible for them. This is also a great tool for students with physical disabilities, namely hearing impairments. So if students are unable to access your content online because it is purely spoken and the slides offer limited information, doing these subtitles is a great way to make your content accessible to students who might have those types of hearing impairments. Now, some of the less obvious accessibility considerations are I was asked to. The first one would be students with exceptional time constraints. So some students are going to be taking care of a lot of different things in their life. They're going to have time constraints put on them both by their other instructors and by their family circumstances. And so being able to have subtitles at the bottom and watch these videos at 1.5, 1.75 speed would allow them the time to be able to get the content, at least be exposed to it, without having to sit through a lengthy presentation of this type of material. Another would be students in restricted environments. So if your student is in a household where they are in a situation where noise is something that they are unable to produce, this would be a way for them to be able to access your content, but do so in a silent way, whether that is an adult imposing those limitations, or simply just the time that they are accessing them. But this would be a great way for students to access these without that requirement of sound with your presentations. So apart from accessibility, one of the things to consider is UDL, which stands for Universal Design for Learning. And this is a concept that addresses how best to design our content for all of our different learners in our classroom. And one of the things that UDL really touches on is that teaching should be multimodal, because your students' learning is going to be multimodal. All that means is that you should never present your content in just one way. You shouldn't just hand them a book or write notes. You also shouldn't just record a podcast or make them do an interpretive dance. Because you want your content to be accessible to students of all the multiple intelligences, and those students who might be differently abled. So with this type of a tool, this Microsoft PowerPoint Office 365 Live Subtitles, one of the things that it's really cool about it is it offers a multimodal approach to teaching. So in this presentation, I have both my voice, which is giving the content information. I have slides that are a basic overview that allow students to look at somewhat of a structured note format. And then I have the subtitles at the bottom for students who might be more visual learners and enjoy reading and grasp that content more than those who listen. And then I also have my face down at the bottom for students who interpersonal intelligence is really important, and who seeing someone on their screen, talking to them, being able to connect with a person would be a very important thing to catalyze their learning experience. So to access this tool, all that is required is a Microsoft 365 subscription. Simply go to the Microsoft Office website and go to the PowerPoint, open a new one, and under Slideshow tab, there will be something that says Always Use Subtitles. Accessing the dropdown gives you these, these 6 options. The bottom 4 are just where you position these slides. I have mine at the bottom overlaid because I think that looks the most visually pleasing. And the top 2 are the spoken language and subtitle language. So the spoken language is for you if you are an instructor who speaks a non-English language. This would be where you can select the language that you want PowerPoint to listen to and interpret. The subtitle language is then the language that the subtitles are translated into. So for this presentation, I have the spoken language and the subtitle language both as English. But those both could be set to any combination, really breaking down those language barriers within your classroom. So that's really it for the PowerPoint live subtitle tool. It is a very powerful tool for universal design for learning and equitable access. It is very simple to use. The only thing that's really restricting it is the Office 365 paywall. But once you are behind that paywall and you're able to access it, it is as simple as a few clicks, and then you just start your presentation, and as you go through it, it just adds these subtitles as you talk. So thank you for viewing my presentation on universal design for learning and equitable access tools. I hope this was informative and that you are able to apply this to your own classroom.